Okay, Ford Transit, we're under the hood. Here's what we're gonna focus on today. This is a water pump. This pumps the chassis glycol through this 5/8 inch heater hose, and it sends it all the way back into the heater box. Okay, that heats the cabin. Then it comes out of the heater box, continues on its way through the rest of the engine. What we're going to do in order to make free hot water, we're going to cut this 5/8 heater hose right here, and we're going to cut it again over here and remove this section. We're going to put in a Y valve and send our heater hose down this way to our heat exchanger, which is under the van. Then it returns from our heat exchanger to this Y valve and continues on its way into the heater box, and then from the heater box throughout the engine. So basically, we have removed 6 to 8 inches of this hose, and we've added, I'm gonna say it's about, I'd say 9 and 9, probably 18 feet of travel that this pump has to work a little harder, and we have to add a little more glycol to the chassis reservoir to accommodate that additional 19 feet, 18 feet of hosing that we have. So now let me go show you what this looks like when it's all completed. All right, here we are in a completed job. Here's our pump. The hose comes up through the elbow, and I've added a Y valve here. I've added another Y valve down here. This was that section I told you we were cutting out. So now the way these valves are positioned, the chassis glycol is going through this side of the valve, and it's going all the way down to the heat exchanger under the van, and then it returns on this side and comes back through this valve, and then it goes to the heater box in the chassis and on its way through the rest of this engine to keep it cool. So basically, we just did a bypass. So instead of the chassis glycol coming straight across this way and into the heater box, it's first gonna take a detour down to my heat exchanger where we pick up some heat off it, then it comes back on its way. And the reason we have these series of valves here is so that we can bypass my heat exchanger. If anything were to go wrong with my heat exchanger, you would close this valve, open this valve, close that valve. This one will always remain open. By doing so, you've just sent your glycol back on its way. You're bypassing my system if there were a problem. But this is the configuration that it should stay in for all eternity unless there is a problem with my part of this system. Now here's just a quick little tip. You see this valve is parallel to the hose. That means it's open. This valve is perpendicular to the hose, which means it's closed. It's a gate. You can picture it in your mind as a gate. When the valve is perpendicular to the flow, it's off. When it's parallel to the hose, that's the flow, it's on. So this glycol is coming from here out that way. Now, if you notice, let me see if I can get a good shot. Yeah. Here's my hose, okay? Look at this nice sweeping loop that I have on that hose with just a couple of spots where I can cable tie it to the chassis. Why do I have such a pretty sweeping hose? Why don't I just go shortest distance from A to B? You know the answer to that, because that's a service loop. I did the same thing on this hose coming back up. There's plenty of slack in this hose so that a mechanic working on this engine in the future can cut this cable tie, move this hose out of his or her way, in order to get their work done. Then they can re-strap it in place. You got to think about those things. Even here, I've left plenty of room to fill your oil and to check your oil. You got to be aware of that stuff. Now, see this? This is your windshield wiper armature. This actually goes back and forth. So you've got to be aware of that. Make sure you've got clearance so this doesn't start to hit your hose. Okay, I put a nice piece of very hard gutsy loom here because, as I said, You're going to have mechanics and vehicle owners playing around with the oil and checking and this and that. I didn't want this wearing away. Ditto the rest of the way down. This is not the cheap loom that you buy on Amazon. This is a hard shell loom, okay? This is gutsy stuff, okay? Now let me show you what this does under the van. This entire hose is sheathed in this hard loom. Then it goes into another loom under the van. Here's the best route for our heater hose on the Ford Transit. We're coming across the bottom of that skid plate, and then we can tuck up and through the upper portions here. Now, here's where I explain to you, this is the hard-shelled loom that leaves the engine compartment. It goes into a secondary, larger hard-shell loom. This is not your shitty soft loom you get on the Amazon. This is hard-shelled stuff. This is really good stuff. And the inner loom is loose in the bigger loom, and the hose is loose in the smaller loom. What that does for you is it allows for shock absorption. If any rocks or anything wants to try to cut this stuff, there's deflection. So it won't have a chance to break into the heater hose, which is now 2 levels deep. So that is actually the best way to route that hose. You're not anywhere near the steering mechanism or the shock absorbers. You come right up through, and the minute you can come up again, you do it. And then we'll spin around this way. Okay, here's my heat exchanger, mounted with brackets that I made out of aluminum. I use plus nuts inside the chassis to create my mounting points. This is a very high quality heat exchanger. These are all copper plates. So the engine glycol comes through, enters the heat exchanger there, goes through all the plates and exits here. My glycol comes in this side, goes through the heat chambers and exits the other way. That's an important detail. The chassis glycol flows this way and my glycol flows in the opposite direction. That way they cross one another and we pick up the heat we need. These glycols do not mix. They never touch each other. This glycol is separate. Where's my finger? There. This glycol is separate from this. They run through these channels, these chambers, through the copper plates. They never mix, but the heat from this one is stolen through the copper plates and absorbed by this one. The glycol wants to equalize. That's how we pick up the heat. If we let this run long enough and both glycols were the same temperature, it would stop exchanging heat. They would have reached equilibrium. But because my glycol is cooler than the engine glycol, that's how it steals heat. It's on its way to equalization. That's the ultimate goal. It's simple physics, which I didn't take in high school. I wish I did. Over here is my pump. I also add a water pump to this system. Now, as I explained in a previous video, my glycol originates in a reservoir. It's the highest point in this system. It's mounted up in the rear of the van inside the garage, or in this case, under the galley. The head pressure or the gravity is enough to push that glycol all the way down into the heat exchanger. When it leaves the heat exchanger, I put a pump right there. This is a critical place for that pump because you've now got a negative head pressure. There's just not enough head pressure to push it uphill because that's where we're headed now. Technically, we're headed uphill. So I put my pump right after the heat exchanger, and you can see it's protected with aluminum. See? It's not going to get hurt by any gravel or rocks or anything. That pump pushes us all the way back up into the van, through the water heater, back to the reservoir where it starts its cycle all over again. This pump is a 12-volt pump. I'm going to wire this pump in to an ignition circuit in the van. So it's only operating when the van engine is running, which is when you want it to operate. When the van engine is running, it's heating its glycol. It's cooling the engine. That's what it's doing. And that's when we steal it.